about this one? Orlando out here in Los Angeles. This is a big win for the Magic. Banchero, Carter Jr., it's a 110-109. Heck of an ending. Paolo finishes with 36, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Luka, 22, he was 8 of 24. 2 of 10 from 3, 15 assists. It was a fourth quarter that you can remember. The layup is what gave them the win, the Magic on the road, which is a big deal. There's like some crazy stat about them beating both the Clippers and Lakers. Hasn't been done in over a decade. However, there was a chance for the Lakers to win this thing. Luka deferred to LeBron, and this is what everybody's talking about this morning for the game winner. It's not a great deferring, if you ask me. Weird that he passed it up, Chandler.
Yeah, and weirder afterwards how he says, I know I was open, but I just thought I was a little bit far when we've seen this dude hoist three-pointers from the logo. Listen,
this is a blown coverage. Look at Banchero.
Yeah, look, first of all, or Black.
Let that go.
First of all, Anthony Black needs to switch out on the other side. I imagine they're switching everything with that shorter clock. And interesting play how they all kind of ran up there like it was confusing. It was like almost like a football play here. And then look, you can't ask for a better look here. First of all, shoot it now. Then off the dribble, shoot it again. So this, I think,
and he burnt his dribble.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking here, but obviously this was just a mental lapse for Luka. He's got to take that shot. The play worked in theory, even though like they just kind of blew the coverage. But you can't ask for a better look for your best player to get that wide open at the end of the game. He's got to take the shot.
Absolutely.
That seems to be the overall consensus, Lou.
Yeah, he just had a lapse, as you can see, and I pointed out it was a blown coverage. We've seen him shoot the ball from half court with a smile on his face. The only thing that I can think of, there was 5 or 6 seconds left on the clock. If you shoot a deep three with that much time on the clock, you probably can weigh your options there if you're Luka. But all in all, you got the ball in your best player's hands on that team. You gotta put it towards the rim, and you can't burn your dribble. And so this is a rare occurrence that we see from Luka. I'm sure he'll learn from it and make his adjustments. He'll probably come out the next game and shoot the first 5 shots will probably be 30-footers. You know what I mean, to kind of get that off of his back. But yeah, just a lapse in judgment, and it didn't go his way.
Yeah, and this game was awesome. First of all,
this is
it
like
was
a
back and
fun
forth. Like the energy, it was electric. I didn't know who was gonna win till literally the Magic won the game. And again, to have a timeout to get this type of look from your best player, it just he's definitely wants this one back because he was wide ass open.
There's some more Luka talk that we will get to, but we do want to kind of concentrate on the Magic for a second. They did win the game after all, and we started preseason into the season. High expectations for Orlando based on sort of what we saw from them last year. And it's been a roller coaster, Lou, I think, to say the least. However, 6 of 8 is what they've won right now. They're only 2.5 games back of the 5 seed. Maybe we wrote them off a little too early. Maybe that's probably good for them. Maybe that's a motivation. But now when you watch them, what are you seeing?
They're playing really good basketball. And you can take a win. You can take a win like that and use it as momentum, or you can take the road trip that they were just on. They went 3 out of 4 on the West Coast, beating both LA teams, and going out and getting one in sack as well, losing to only the Phoenix Suns on that trip. When you go on these trips on the West Coast or in a different conference, and you can come home and feel pretty good about that trip, and knowing you got a home swing coming up, that's what confidence is to the Orlando Magic. So it was great to see them get this win, and like you said, they can turn it around, but it's going to be a committee of games. Now, I'm sitting here looking at their schedule. They got Houston, Detroit, Washington, Dallas, Minnesota, Milwaukee, and Cleveland coming up in their next 8.
Okay.
I think they can go out and get 4 or 5 of these. Now, if they can come out of that and be successful, I think that's where you see a real confidence swing and where they can really look at the season and say, hey, we're moving in the right direction, where we can genuinely turn this thing around. So that's a great start. They're headed home. I'm sure they're back in Orlando by now already. So that's a good sign for them. It's a great win.
And last night, obviously, no Wagner, no Suggs. Wagner's only played 26 or 28 games this year, so that hurts. So they haven't really been completely whole. And I think just they gave us a little bit, of success last year. We thought they were going to make the big jump, and obviously, unfortunately, they've got off to a slow start. But we're starting to see flashes, right? And a lot of that comes down to Paolo Banchero, who's kind of struggled early, picking his spots not in the best way, kind of picking up his dribble, almost looking hesitant. Last night, he was decisive. He didn't settle. He got downhill. He was aggressive. He got to the free throw line. Like, that is the version that we need to see of him. Use that size, use that length that he has, because he's so much stronger than pretty much every night the guy that's guarding him. So the Magic, they go and get Desmond Bane, which on paper looked perfect. They're still 24th in three-point shooting, so they don't have enough.
That's weird.
They lack shooting. He's really their only like sniper. But I think we're going to start.
When he gets
seeing
hot,
this.
he gets hot. But yeah.
And he's been great. He could have been an all-star this year. Like he has been a great pickup for them. I do think they need to add more shooting. Just the style of play that they play with Wagner, with Banchero, they're easy to pack the paint on and limit kind of their options. But I think we're going to see their best basketball because even when their offense is not going, they can defend. And Jamal Mosley's a heck of a coach.
Let me ask you this, because Kendrick Perkins said that Paolo Banchero is the biggest disappointment of any player this season. By the way, that's a tough sentence to have to hear. But then he has games like what we just saw. Does that sort of squash that argument? Like we're on our way?
Yeah, I think he's upset with his play just overall, and even early on, you hear the rumors of Mosley possibly getting fired, and the relationship disconnect there. Paolo Banchero is the #1 pick, Rookie of the Year, absolute stud max player, and he's going to continue to get better. I just think he needs to find his way offensively. I do think that will do him wonders, like I said earlier, to surround him with more shooting, but listen, if 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists is the most disappointing player in the year, I think he could sleep well with that.
And he's not settling anymore. I think earlier in this season, he was playing too much off the dribble, settling for long jump shots or trying to create off the dribble. Instead, now he's playing bully ball. He's using his size. As you can see in those clips we just watched, everything was shoulder action. He's shouldering guys, getting to his spots. He's laying the ball up, either dunking it, or everything else is going to be 8 to 10 feet from the rim, or I'm going to shoot wide open three-pointers as opposed to contested ones. And so that's a young player that's still finding ways to adjust his game, that's going to rig the game up to be successful for him. So I love that. I love the fact that he's using his size more opposed to being off the dribble and trying to play into traffic like Chandler just mentioned. If you're going to play in traffic, at least do it with your back to the basket or where somebody either going to foul you, you're going to get a layup, or you're going to get a dunk.
And think about, like, we're comparing the other young, really good teams are San Antonio and Oklahoma State, right?
Sure.
This team is really, really young. Desmond Bane's 27 years old. He's like the vet on their team. You look at guys like De Silva. You look at guys like, Anthony Black. Like, they have so much potential here, too, that they just need to build around. I think they strongly need to add more shooting, but they are going to be here for years to come competing and playing at a high level.
Let's head back to this Lakers side of things. They've lost 4 of 6. They're now in that 6th seed. There's a lot of hope and dreams for when Austin Reeves returned that things would kind of get back on track and be what they were going to be. And however, it doesn't seem that way with all 3 guys in the lineup. So I'm wondering, Lou, what is it? The Suns are right there with them at this point. You're right behind them. Yeah, there you go. Is there a possibility we're looking at Lakers as a play-in?
Well, it's go time. It's definitely go time. They got about 25 more games left, and they're 2 games out of the play-in right now based on the standings. And so if they can't find a rhythm on the offense or the defensive end, they're looking at a sticky situation. And this is a Lakers team that looks like their defense, it goes as if their offense goes. If they don't have great offensive nights, or if it's not easy looks for them, or they can't play in transition, it affects the way that they play defense. And if they're going to be that style of basketball team, it's not going to work for them. They've already shown in the half court that they're not the greatest defensive team, and they're going to need help. So in that case, they got to score the basketball at a high clip. So are we looking at Luka turning down game winners and these things, and they're going to be a highly offensive team? They got a lot of things they got to clean up, or they are going to find themselves in a position where they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot opposed to a guaranteed one.
Yeah, they're so dependent on their offense that when it is slowed down in the half court and they can't get stops, it's going to be tough for them to win games and win a series when you're a bottom half defensive team. I think they're 23rd, 24th in defense. They can't get stops. So, yes, they're going to always have a chance because they do have Luka and LeBron James. And like Austin Reeves last night, it was a tale of 2 different halves. I think he had 0 in the first half, then just easily goes and gets 18 in the second half. Like, if they're rolling offensively, which they usually are, they're still a tough out and a tough beat. But, man, they got to find a way to get stops. And with this roster, this makeup of their team, they don't really have those guys. Yeah, I like adding Kennard at the deadline. He doesn't really do anything defensively for them, but shooting-wise and spacing the floor, he helps. But this team's going to struggle majorly getting stops.
By the way, they still, with just the 25 or so games left, they still have to play the Rockets, Thunder, Nuggets, Warriors twice each. So that's still a bit of a little.
Well, at least they get the Warriors twice.
That's not always a given, by the way. Zach Lowe, get in the car, buddy. I'm going to make some room for you. Buckle up your seatbelt because he's getting it. It is becoming unwatchable to watch Luka at times. That's according to Zach Lowe, because it's the constant complaining. Their own play-by-play guys were like, please stop whining because you are missing defensive moments that you need to be in that are very costly, Chandler. And I don't think you're changing who Luka is as a person. So what are we going to do here? Because the Lakers, it's not just him, by the way. J.J. Redick called Monty McCutcheon after a goaltending situation the other day. They were blown out by 22 points, and he was hung up on this one particular call by the refs. So they're very infatuated with ref stuff. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah, the Luka stuff, it's not good, and it's exhausting. Just from a standpoint of watching, it's got to be exhausting from an effort getting back on defense. Like, I remember when I'd play my coaching staff, if I even looked at the ref and had a split second of not getting back on defense, it was rewound and showing, because you're worried more about what happened individually than the team and getting back on defense. This happens all the time for a guy like Luka, and I don't think it's going to stop because, again, like you said, he's 26 years old. This is almost who he is, and he plays very passionately, and he's got fire, and he cares. But he's got to find a way to control this a little bit because it's a bit exhausting for a player of his talent and his level, especially a guy that's a foul-baiting type of guy, which is a talent now, just like SGA is, just like Jalen Brunson. That's not even a knock to me anymore. But the fact that you go hunting contact a lot of the time and you go to try and get the foul, and then you complain when you
cry about
don't. Like it's a little eye rolly. So I do understand what Zach Lowe is saying here, and just as like a fan of the game, you don't want to just constantly watch that. And as a ref, it's got to also be obnoxious that this guy's just riding me all game long.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's becoming a thing. Like, Luka's so good at basketball, we should be talking about this.
It's been a thing, but now when you start seeing the struggles, it becomes magnified. And also it affects winning, right? Like, you hate to see in a good game a guy stops and complains to a referee and then give up a layup on a 5-on-4 because of that. And it's like, and basketball is a game of inches. You lose by 1 point, 2 points in a game because you give up possessions after possession after possession, worrying about referees. You know, and this has kind of been somewhat of Luka's makeup over his career. You know, he's always been criticized for the ref complaining. And we were hoping every season that he comes into that, you know, he would adjust and he would kind of change it a little bit and try to stay off of the referees. And there was an effort there at one point, but then you kind of revert back to it. And so, you know, I don't know that it's unwatchable, but at some point it's going to get to a point where it's going to be magnified, and that's going to be something that we continue to talk about with Luka. And he's too much of a great player for that to be his calling card.
Like, if you don't like the Lakers, it's awesome. Like, it's awesome to watch because you're just like, yeah, keep whining while you're standing back there. But if you're a Lakers fan,
unwatchable is a little aggressive.
Yeah, that's a little.
He still drops dimes. And he still does special stuff
we're
on the
watching.
court. That is fun to watch.
It's annoying.
It's annoying.
It's
like
grating.
it's a little bit. It's just a little eye rolly. Like, oh my God, he's doing it again. Like, and again.
Can't help himself.
Like, last night there was the play where they reviewed the foul on Carter when he shot the three. And he's lucky after they reviewed it, they didn't reverse the call to a foul on him because he kicked him. Like, he created the contact. And what's funny is on the review, it was just a no call because I guess they were looking at the hand. But I'm like, they could have easily just made an offensive foul on Luka. So, like, you got to be careful what you wish for sometimes with the whole review thing and riding him because video doesn't lie.
No.
And you can get exposed. Like, that's what I never understood. When the ball's out of bounds clearly off you and they go off on the ref, it's like, don't you know that they could just see this on
Yeah, what
replay
is that
and you're gonna
about?
look
Some of it
stupid?
some of it is performative.
for
you
who?
know,
What's not fun?
Well, for your team and your bench, because you don't want to be embarrassed that something happened, and so you're kind of performing like you got fouled or something happened. But a lot of the times, you know good and well that it's probably your fault that whatever happened.
1 million.
Yeah, and so it kind of muddies the waters sometimes when you see guys like so passionate about it, then they turn around and do this, and you just watch coaches like, no, I'm not burning my time out on this. And so some of it is performative. And sometimes guys genuinely think they do have a case, but no, it's trying to, it's a lot of different things at work there. You're trying to convince the ref, you know, that hopefully you can get them to change something to go your way, and the other half of it is performative.
When you see someone do this, like in the first play of the game, I'm like
I want to turn off the TV.
You can't think I'm going to burn a timeout.
you don't think I'm going to use my challenge 6 seconds into the game.
And you're right, eye roll is a great description, because that's what we're all doing. We're all like, are you kidding me right now?
Enough.